Hello YouTube, and today I have something really cool that I'm gonna show you. So, this is macOS 9.1, and it's running on my Power Macintosh 7600 with 120 megabytes of RAM and a 120 megahertz processor. Now, this is the maximum supported version of macOS, but apparently you can run later versions, which, isn't very surprising. Like macOS 9.2 is something that you can run. But you can run, like, macOS 10 server, I think. But also, you can run macOS 10.2 on this, which I find just absolutely cool. So here we have ex post facto, and all of this is pretty, like, this is for when the system is installed, but this is what we want. And so let's click install from CD and install, and it'll take a little bit of time to copy everything and boot up, but yeah, this is super exciting to me. I can't wait, honestly. Oh, and it's already rebooting, so that means we should be booting into macOS 10.2's installer pretty soon. So here we have the Apple logo, and then it goes into verbose boot, which I believe is a side effect of ex post facto, which I don't mind. I love watching the status messages and stuff scroll down the screen. But yeah, now we really wait. So here we have the language selection screen on macOS 10.2 Jaguar, the installer. And I want to use English. And I have no idea how fast this will be. It'll probably be very slow because, I'm running this on 8 megabytes less than the minimum required RAM, and this is a PowerPC 604. Whereas Jaguar generally requires at least a G3. Now, ex post facto does some of the work to, make the booting possible, but if it does anything like looks for a certain amount of RAM, then I'm sort of going to be out of luck. So let's click continue. Yeah, it's probably going to take at least a few seconds to, go between screens. Let's see, this is the README. Supported computers. Yeah, so here are the supported computers, and the original PowerBook G3 being the only G3 machine to not support macOS 10 out of the box, which is just a little interesting note. My computer must have at least 128 megabytes of RAM and a built-in display or a display connected to an Apple-supplied video card. I only have one of those things. So let's hit continue. And continue. Agree. Let's see, Jaguar. Let's see why it doesn't like it. Okay, yeah, it doesn't like the fact that it's HFS and not HFS Plus. So by erasing that, continue. And we can do a custom installation. Because I like doing custom installations. Let's see. Don't need printer drivers. Let's see. Localization files. Let's see how heavy that is. I don't think I need it because I'm only going to be using English on this system. At least for the system language. Additional Asian fonts might be useful. But anyway, let's install. So the software has successfully been installed, and now it will restart. I'm not actually sure what's going to happen now because I've... Oh, that was loud. But yeah, I'm not actually sure what will happen now. So yeah, I'm going to guess this is hung, which I am not entirely surprised about. Thankfully, I have an idea. So here we are booted into the macOS 9.1 install disk. I just needed a bootable environment to run X post facto from again. With any luck, so now let's try X post facto again, and hopefully it doesn't error. Ah yes, here we go. Let's see. Yeah, let's try it. Update, but this should do it. If this works, I'll be very happy. I do believe I'll probably need to still use the second install disk, but yeah. Now let's see. So yes, now I need to insert disk 2. So it looks like the second install disk to macOS 10.2 has finished, and yeah, we're probably going to be booting into the actual OS now. And here we have the welcome screen, and that's a nice animation, even if it's super slow. So I'm going to set this up, and I'm not sure how long it's going to take, but I will see you at the desktop. Here we are at the desktop. And it is sort of slow. Not actually terrible, but not really all that fast either. Let's just check about this Mac too. Yep, okay. Memory 120 megabytes, processor 120 megahertz, PowerPC G4. So, you know, there is absolutely no trickery going on here. This is actually a PowerPC 604 running at 120 megahertz, running macOS 10.2 Jaguar. So here we have Apple System Profiler, and yeah, as you can see, 120 megahertz for the processor speed, 40 megahertz bus speed. Machine model is that macOS 10.2. Yeah, there are no USB and no firewire devices for obvious reasons. But yeah, so I'm going to just work on getting this set up and stuff. I'll be back when that's all done, and then we can take a look at the operating system. So here we are booted into macOS 10.2, and yeah, the last the last clip was sort of weirdly exposed because I wanted to get the stopwatch on my iPod visible, and as you can see, I was timing it, and I'm not sure if this will actually focus, but 14 minutes 57 seconds is what my iPod said. Like, that's how long it took to get from chime to desktop, which is just sort of funny to me. By the way, this is super slow, but I absolutely love it. I'll probably be cutting out a lot of waiting when I edit this video. But yeah, let's just check out some of the cool stuff that comes on here, because yeah. Let's see. So there's a clock that looks, honestly, it looks like straight out of Next Step, honestly. Like, you know, I'm pretty sure I actually have a similar, like, applet for a window maker on my netbook that looks a bit like this. But then this actually comes with iMovie out of the box. Let's see if this will even load. Oh, looks like it's working on it. Yeah. Slowly. And unless this has drivers for the capture hardware, the analog capture hardware, there's absolutely no way that I will be able to use iMovie with this computer. Or maybe I won't even be able to use iMovie with the capture hardware, because iMovie is generally intended for you know, DV stuff. And here we have the intro cinematic, and I think it's trying to play sound, but not able to. But it opens at the very least. Here's something that I'm really curious about. Will this work with a zip drive? It technically should, because a zip drive is really just a removable mass storage device, like, at its heart. But I'm curious, like, what will identify it as on the system, like, when it mounts. Okay, looks like it's just a standard removable drive. But I actually have some stuff that I want to copy onto here so I can test out like QuickTime and stuff. And here you can see sort of the, like, ancestry of the copy dialog that is in macOS now. Okay, so that's done copying, so I should just be able to drag this to the trash can. And inject it. That's basically how macOS 10.4 on my Power Mac G4 also handles zip disks, basically just as any sort of removable device. So, yeah. First, let's take a look at disk utility, because, yeah, it's really interesting to see how, like, this sort of transitional period of macOS 10 is, especially considering the fact that, like, you know, it has some older programs like disk copy and some, like, stuff that you still see in macOS, like disk utility. Okay, so here's disk utility, and it looks like, yeah, it looks like a prototypical version of, our, like, modern, or I guess not modern disk utility, but, like, the disk utility that would come later. It looks like a prototypical version of that without any, like, the imaging capabilities. yeah. Yeah, so really what disk utility did initially, I guess, was combine disk first state and drive setup. And then also added some other things like RAID, software RAID. But then disk copy was still its own thing until later, when it got merged into disk utility. And here, this looks a lot like disk copy 6 from Mac OS 9, and okay, so this is actually disk copy 10, which is, or 55. I'm not sure if, but yeah, this. So chances are this is this. They basically took disk copy 6 and added in like more features that would be useful for Mac OS 10 users. Let's see. The terminal, I'm pretty sure, is probably about the same, but I haven't actually looked. Yeah, it looks about the same. And it uses TCSH. I forget when macOS switched to Bash. I think it was 10.3 or 10.4, maybe 10.5. But yeah, so this is pretty cool. Yeah, just like being able to use the terminal in macOS was, you know, a pretty big thing, I think, at the beginning, because it wasn't necessarily a common thing beforehand to, like, you know, have Macs with terminals, because, you know, the macOS beforehand wasn't really, you know, it wasn't based on Unix or anything, really. Now, the CPU monitor and process monitor are really interesting because they later got merged into activity monitor. But you can see that like at this point in time they're still separate programs, which I just find absolutely fascinating. And you can see how much, like what percentage of memory and what percentage of CPU. And surprisingly enough, this doesn't like constantly peg the CPU or anything. Mostly. I want to see how it does with media. So I'm not going to be trying to play back any videos because I'm pretty sure that won't go well. But I want to see how it does with MP3s and MIDIs. So let's see. Let's do Passport. A classic. And we can also check the version of QuickTime. Okay, so here's Passport, and this looks like QuickTime Player 5? Maybe 6. Okay, yeah, QuickTime Player 6. That's actually what I have on my Power Mac G4 and OS 9. That way, let's see how it sounds, or if it can even synthesize in real time. And Passport.mid should be a pretty simple one. It doesn't have, like, I don't think it has any, like, sysx or anything. You know, just, like, very simple MIDI file. Oh my god, it's doing it. Oh my god. You can, like, just barely do it and not well. Okay, wow, that's something. The real question is if it will do anything if it will do any better in MP3 decoding, and I'm just gonna use iTunes for this because, you know, like, that's the default, and I'm really curious, A, what version of iTunes, and B, like, how it runs. I'm gonna guess iTunes, what, 3? Maybe iTunes 2? I know Tiger comes with iTunes 4 by default. Don't modify. I'm actually connecting, it's fine. It's not like I'll use this for any actual, like, media stuff. I guess it's fine, I only have the one. So now it's scanning the hard disk. So it seems to be doing pretty okay with MP3 decoding. And also, of course, the speaker in this is really good. I'm not sure how well it comes across over the video, but it sounds pretty good. Let's see what version of iTunes this is. If it will even render the window. Okay, iTunes 3, so I was right. Yeah, chances are... I wonder if this got updated when, or was it iTunes 5 that Tiger came with initially? Either way, that's all I was curious about, is, like, what version. But yeah, that sounds really good. I'm gonna try web browsing next. Yeah, so this initially came with Internet Explorer, and I'm pretty sure Safari got installed with the 10.2.8 update that I did. So now we just wait for Internet Explorer to load. And I actually downloaded the macOS 10.2.8 update from the Macintosh Garden on this computer. I just figured it was easier than downloading on a different computer and transferring over the internet, and it worked fine for that. Let's see, Power Macintosh 7600. I actually really love IE for Mac. It's actually pretty good, honestly, all things considered. Like, I mean, it's basically just, like, this is version 5.1, which is, let's see. Yeah, this is version 5.2, sorry. And it's based on NCSA Mosaic, so, you know, it's like, yeah, it's based on Mosaic. But yeah, IE for Mac is probably the best experience with IE that I've ever had. So, yeah, that's IE. And then now let's try Safari, which I've never actually run on this system before. And it'll be interesting to see what version it has. Probably like Safari 1. I honestly don't know. Could not open page. That is not at all surprising. Let's see how it renders my website. Very slowly is probably the answer to that. And it seems to render it well. Nice. And System 7 today, of course, loads just fine. But yeah, that's really cool. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a great time watching this video. I know it was really fun making it, and I learned some new stuff. I've never actually used this version of macOS 10 before, so that was really interesting. A lot of editing to do. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you next time.